Hi guys, this is Lashette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I am back with a new video. This is me exploring color and tarot and oracle, part 1. In case you didn't know, I have a Patreon now, and I have several tiers. You get various exclusive videos, early access to videos like this one. My patrons, have already seen it. It goes from just simply supporting my channel and my business to getting exclusive content like the early views and exclusive videos, exclusive downloads, and at the top tier, the Scarlet tier, you can become a beta tester of sorts for some of my products where I mail stuff to you to test out. So, if you find any of that interesting, do check out the link down in the description below. Now, this video I have wanted to do for a while. If you are new to my channel, I love color, period, and the myriad ways you can use it. As far as my tarot and oracle decks, I tend to gravitate towards those that are vibrant and colorful, and detailed art styles. So, that being what it is, I had a very big life change in March, and it was slowly growing over time. I don't want to overstate it. I'm not looking for sympathy or condolences, just giving facts. My grandmother passed away in March, and she was elderly, but also this entire year in and out of the hospital, and that last time, yeah, that was it. So I was one of her regular daily caretakers. I was watching videos though, and I saw Marlena Teresa do a VR to this exploring color and tarot and oracle. It is originally by Christina Rose L on their channel. I will link both of them in the description below their videos. So Christina Rose L created these spreads, and she did 2 videos, 5 spreads. So that's what I am going to do today. It helps that I did pull the cards already. I picked the decks and all of that stuff. I'm just going to go over with you and show you how I'm using the resources that I have at my disposal. Okay, and if I only get to 1 spread in here, then we'll do the next one in another video, okay? You'll see at the end how this goes. These 2 spreads are spreads for self-discovery. The first 2 decks that I used are probably my most colorful tarot, which is not saying a lot. The Light Seers, this is the mass market edition, and I'm sure lots of you have seen this. I love the colors. Even the blacks and whites are just so vibrant. Look at that sun. Look at that sun. Right? Then for the oracle deck, I am using my Color Mage Oracle. This is an indie deck that is back in print. Charles popped up again with a new website. And this is kind of like paint samples, and that's fine. But it's just one solid color, no image. There's a title, and they have like some keywords or a key phrase at the bottom, but it's very light. I know some people complain about that on certain cards. It's hard to read. I like it because that forces me to focus more on the actual color. If I want a color deck, I want this one where it's just the color, no images. Nothing against any other color decks. So yeah, I've had this for a really long time. It doesn't come with a box or anything. Really, there was a PDF file you could get when you purchased it, but I think I deleted that email by accident. I was clearing out my email box, so okay, so the first spread, right, is the color balance spread, and you have these 3 cards in the middle, 3 tarot. You have light, mood, and dark. Okay, and then above and below. The unconscious is below and the conscious is above. Right? Now, the purpose of both of these spreads, and I'm assuming the next 3, I haven't done the next 3 yet, just FYI, is you're focusing on the color. It's not that you ignore the image or the text exactly, and let the colors be the intuitive hits for you, which I like. I always like color theory, and I'm a witch if you're unaware, and I guess color it's probably the easiest associations I can have for magic and spiritual practices and manifestation and all of that stuff. So working with my decks in that manner, just focusing on the color aspects, I like. So this is kind of practicing that, right? I think we start with the mood, yes. The center card is the moon or emotion, right? And I got the Page of Wands, which can't exactly ignore the imagery. I always thought of this as a fairly light and uplifting or happy-go-lucky card, and the colors bear that out. I mostly like seeing the background. Like, yeah, we're in a desert, but it's early in the day, clearly, from the sky here, and we've got like this pale orange into the yellow, into the light bluish green. It's giving creamsicle. That's mirrored almost in her clothing with little bits of red here, and even in the wand she's throwing up. So yeah, there's like a galaxy feel to it because of the white dots here in the sky in the background. I'm trying to show you without getting the glare from my lighting. It might be sunrise at a beach or the desert, I guess. It could be keeping cool on a hot day, but you know, that playful vibe. We're coming full circle with a circle there. Okay, then we have the light card. Different vibe with these colors. This feels more serious, more grounded, and like her dress being this vibrant red. The background, the land, is a similar color to the land here, but it seems to get a more serious orange as we go down. And then there's buildings back there. I'll show you, and those are various colors. Uh, she has her purse here that has the 4 elemental colors, and then a sky blue. Not purely clear with no clouds, but for the most part, yes. We just got some wispy clouds. I don't remember the different cloud type names, so it is what it is. Um, but even though the colors feel more separate here and don't blend, they are complementary for the most part. The oranges, a little bit of yellows or beiges and reds for the most part. Little pops of cooler tones like the sky here, but definitely more down to earth and grounded and solid than this Page of Wands, which feels more wispy and airy. Last card for the dark, we've got the Queen of Swords. Now, this is definitely like different. There are less colors in this. We have more black and white, and there is the blue, which carries over through all 3, but this is a more serious blue. Clearer skies, that made me realize this is kind of hazy, which happens on hot days. I'm assuming it happens in the desert too. Because there's just like serious blues, intense blues, blacks, and whites, it feels clear. Like I can breathe easier here. Just, it's funny I'm doing this now when my allergies have been the worst and I'm recovering from a cold, so I'm completely stuffed right now. But oh, my left side of my sinuses is completely stuffed. I can't breathe out of, and yeah. So I feel like if I was here on this mattress on the top of a mountain with her, I'd be breathing cool, crisp, fresh air, because that's what this sky is giving. And like her very no nonsense outfit, like I think she has a purple shirt, which I didn't notice until just now, but I mean, I guess that brings in the royal aspect, the Queen of Swords, but like this is just directness to the point. Like her dark blue jeans are not the same blue, but still a blue. The flag here is blue. There's warmth to these other cards that is not here. Black seems to be the more dominant color. And this is not about blending in. This is more about sticking out. Like the jeans being a different shade of blue than the sky, which is the majority of the picture, helps her stand out with the black leather jacket and the black on the sword, her black shoes, her black, gray, and white hair, like the black bird up there, whether it's a crow or a raven or whatever type of corvid. Like, she's not trying to blend in, where I feel like maybe this one is. And the page, not so much, but about blending in, but feeling the vibe and going with it. That makes sense. This is about being separate. The dark side is like separating yourself. The light is about blending in and being grounded. And this is like up in the air and separate. And this is kind of in the middle with what she's doing. Now for the unconscious, I got Wise Owl. And you'll find this part amusing, I hope, because I did. So I got Wise Owl down here, and this is one of the purples, obviously. It says Inner Wisdom and Foresight at the bottom there. The thing is, I looked at this and I was like, oh, this makes me think of grapes. I know there's a grape card in my deck, but it makes me think of grapes. And jelly and childhood, maybe learning about Concord grapes and how, like, they are not like the grapes we usually get from the grocery store. So that's why everything you have, like grape drink, grape lollipops, grape jelly, they don't taste like the grapes you usually eat off the vine. So I didn't find that out until I was well into adulthood. And yeah. So I flipped these cards over one by one, right? And you remember what I just said about there being a grape card in this deck? So here it is. And I didn't know, I didn't check, and I shuffled. I'll pull them closer so you can see the difference. But yeah, so if I thought Wise Owl gave me grape vibes, grape definitely is telling me these are the real Concord grapes. So yeah. And that's the above, so very appropriate. The conscious, the unconscious, like what else can I say about this? The keywords on here are intoxication and stupor, which in other readings I would take that. But just the color by itself, I don't necessarily think that. Everything I said about Wise Owl would be for grape, but in addition, I'd go back and with Wise Owl being the unconscious, I guess like the memories, a lot of the things I was mentioning was from childhood, like grape jelly, grape drank, just like grape Kool-Aid or some other grape flavored juice, and lollipops and that kind of thing. This has youth and this has like elderly. This has more of a gray, subdued shade to it, like grape with some gray in it, or like it's the grape card had been left out in the sun. So it's a little weathered, and it's just funny to me, the conscious and unconscious cards being so close together, but that tracks with the rest of these as well. The blending in versus sticking out and that kind of thing. So what Christine did next was, she was like, well, you look at the guidebooks after you have your personal associations, and then some color books. And I don't really have that kind of thing, but I did request some from the library, some of her suggestions in her video, and yeah, let's look at that. So, as I said, the Color Mage Oracle doesn't really have a guidebook. I remember, and this is one of the reasons I got it, that you can use it with the chakra system. And so the purples would be your crown, if you will. In my deck, I have the original set. I don't have the expansion set, by the way, for these. So these would be like the crown chakra, maybe. And that's the higher self, the God self, if that's what you believe in, or deity, God, spirit, or spirits, those kind of things. Which, again, tracks for unconscious and conscious. Well, it definitely tracks for unconscious. It's like I would see this as like my grandmother versus me back then. My grandmother, who is no longer with us, not the one who recently passed, but my mother's side. Now for these cards, the Page of Wands. Alright, we got Pentacles, Wands, and Swords. And, like, the colors in this deck I really feel are purposeful for meaning. Because, like, Pentacles, Earth, and wands, fire, swords, air. Page of Wands, as a dreamer of my dream, I spontaneously and passionately ignite this flame. So, definitely the youngest of the three. Mood at the time, the emotion was feeling young and maybe a little flippant and fun and flirty, explosive, creative, affectionate, infectious enthusiasm. Free spirit who carries infectious enthusiasm with her, light in her youthful, raw, and exuberant creative energy. Flashes of inspiration are found here, coming bundled with massive potential. Know that you will find this fire when you allow yourself to dream, right? So I think that fit, like the whole cosmos being behind her that I was pointing out fits that the universe is at your fingertips kind of feel. The Four of Pentacles. I live an abundant life and I have more than I need. Quite often this card feels very miserly. She looks calm. The whole vibe of this feels very calm. I'm just holding on to my purse and keeping it close. I'm not fearful. I'm comfortable. Purse needs to be held. She ain't got no straps. But like she's got jewelry on and all of that stuff. It blends in. She's not ostentatious, like some of these Four Pentacles look like. You're building your life coin by coin, and you reach a moment of stability. You can rest, reevaluate, and take stock. Actively save and give in the world, and focus on feeling excited and expansive. Queen of Swords. Right, I speak wisdom and clarity, and that is what I got. It's very clear. She sticks out from here. Thought leader, unbiased decision making, an excellent communicator, highly astute, intellectual, and honest. She watches calmly over her kingdom. Graceful and logical wisdom is framed in truth and proof, and she avoids the gossip or fluff that others may want to hear. A clear heart and clear mind will allow you to speak your truth always. So the colors back the image and what's in the guidebook for me. So then Christine had some books like this one, which I found the most intriguing. Oh no, that's not true. This and a couple of others, but two I found very intriguing. This is one of them. The Secret Lives of Color by Cassia St. Clair, which I didn't know existed. And unusual stories of 75 fascinating shades, dyes, and hues from... In this book, Cassia St. Clair has turned her lifelong obsession with colors and where they come from into a unique study of human civilization across fashion, politics, art, and war. And The Secret Lives of Color tells the vivid story of our culture. Okay, if you want to know more, please do check out Christine's original video. I requested this from the library immediately because I was like, oh, that looks... As someone who loves color, I also thought that was interesting. I haven't looked at this at all, so you can use this or something like it as a reference material, which I did. So, we start with the mood here, and I have already kind of bookmarked some pages in this. But, okay, so Naples yellow... So this is an interesting story about how some bottles in the 1970s were found of inks and resins and which turned out to be pigments, one of which was Naples yellow, which apparently had gone out of style. I honestly quite like it as a color in for painting on like walls and things like that. I like how this says it's pleasing light warm yellow tint that's the vibe we got going here. There's a warmth to it, but not being too like in your face bright, that I appreciate. Without being orange, it's still very much a yellow, and they don't know where it came from, so that's interesting. It's made of lead antimonate. The chrome yellow, definitely more of an orangey tone than the Naples yellow, as you can see. But so like both of these are in here in the background there. It says that chrome yellow was discovered from a crystal in Siberia, the crocoite, which first wasn't good for a pigment, but a French chemist figured out that there is a new metal element inside it, and he named it chrome or chromium, which many of us have heard of. And like you can make various shades of yellow to red with it, and chrome yellow became popular from there. What's interesting about both of these colors, which really fits with the usefulness of this card, is that over time they both quickly change. They darken. The Naples yellow, it says, changes even to blackness by damp and impure air if incorrectly glazed, and you have to make sure no iron or steel implements come into contact with it, which is wild. Just thinking from a modern sense. Like you would have to put it on the wall back then with a spatula of ivory or horn instead, or like on a painting. And then the chrome yellow, it has a nasty habit of browning as it ages, and Van Gogh apparently used it, and on his paintings, testing over the past few years has shown some of the chrome yellow and the flower petals, like the sunflower painting that he's famous for, that have darkened significantly due to the reaction of chrome yellow with other pigments in sunlight. Van Gogh's flowers, it seems, are wilting just as their real-life counterparts did, which I'm feeling. And the gamboge I'll come back to because I feel like that applies to this Four of Pentacles as well. Like the sand. The sand there. So I'll come back to that. I wanted to take a look at the blue. So this is kind of a bluish green. Verdigris. Ooh, that's really close. Yeah, that's probably the closest in this book. The verdigris. Again, interesting history because verdigris, if you're unaware, is what happened to like copper and bronze over time, like when they're exposed to, as it says here, oxygen, water, carbon dioxide, or sulfur. You know, most of the things in the general air, and like statues, rooftops, pots and things like that, they turn this color over time because of that exposure. And think like the Statue of Liberty in the US, the Eiffel Tower in Paris. But getting into how it's made, apparently it's similar to like making lead white, which is on another page and not really that important to us here. But leaves of copper were placed in a pot with lye and vinegar or sour wine, and then sealed, left for a couple of weeks, taken out, and after the sheets were dry, they scraped off the verdigris and put it into cakes ready to be sold. But again, similarly to the yellows, the Naples yellow and the chrome yellow we talked about, it doesn't last very long. It's quick to change colors, sometimes to browns and other shades. When combined with like oil paints, it becomes more transparent, and then people were adding turpentine resin, which comes from pine trees, and that made it more likely to eat through your paper or your canvas or your wall. Not that it wasn't doing that before. So just like I'm getting that quickness, that swiftness, that this is here for a moment. Not a flash in the pan exactly, but not staying for very long, which, you know, fits with this card as the mood. It's beautiful. It's, what's that word? Transient. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. The transient emotion and mood here. Going back to my own thoughts about being fun and maybe even in keeping cool. There's a warmth, but coolness. If you think about copper and or bronze, they're very warm tones and very vibrant, and turning into the like cool green. I feel that. Now for the Four of Pentacles, we've got this red. So after checking, I think the hematite is the closest, because partially because there's so many black line work in this. And in this description of hematite, they're focusing on anhydrous iron oxides and ochres. I've never said that word plurally, so now it sounds odd. This incestuous family of pigments occurs naturally and widely across the Earth's crust. They come in many different shades of red, and simply put, rust. Which I find very interesting given the previous card's colors. And I really appreciate this part too. If the first is that the color red holds a special place in the human psyche, the second is surely that people are shamelessly attracted to bright colors. I admit it. No shame at all. My love for bright colors. She also has in her head wrap a bit, it seems, of that chrome yellow. It's not cerulean. It's lighter than that, but I don't think that light of a blue is here in this book. Which is okay, right? The next card, this guy, which I think the cerulean definitely probably fits. No. What do you guys think? Look very similar here, but this has got something maybe a little more yellow in it than blue. The black, though, oh, ink is looking like the best one here for all of the blacks in this. So this talks about the invention of ink, and for a long time it was made with a lamp black, or, you know, that stuff when you burn a candle or a lamp and you get like this black soot. Combine that with water and gum arabic, Et voila! Same in China for the most part, though special inks were made with special ingredients for spiritual purposes in various cultures, and there's like a higher power involved, the making of it and the ingredients used in the process of writing with ink. And yeah, that was really cool. There are some other general ink recipes in here I don't want to go into, but cool, that above feeling. Lastly, the grape and the wise owl, and I'll probably end this video here because it turned out longer than I thought it would. All right, let's look at these purples. Just some blue. Ooh, woad. Absolutely fascinating history of woad, which I never knew, but I always was curious about. Comes from a plant Isatis tinctoria, a member of the mustard family and native to clay-rich soils in Europe. One of 30 or so plants that can make indigo. But it's a long, hard, expensive, and not environmentally safe process for making indigo. It's, been happening for thousands of years, and there was a big boom in Elizabethan times for wool because having blue cloth was a newer thing, and it didn't have the controversy that wearing other colors, certain people wearing other colors did, which I'm sure I'll get to at some point reading this, but yeah, then people discovered indigo producing plants in India and in the New World, the Americas, and it was cheaper, of course, because slave labor and whatnot, and the wool industry died a slow but complete death eventually. So wool is one of those older dyes, and I think that fits with this wise owl, not wild owl. On the other hand, I put great with violets, but where is indigo? Indigo's in the blues in general. So, like, I can see it a little bit, but I think this fits violet better. That's me, in my opinion. This is definitely bringing the youthful vibes with the idea that these new group of younger artists that were coming up thought that the older established artists were too academic and dull and staid and not unique. And this younger group, we're talking about like Edgar Degas, Claude Monet, Paul Cézanne, Camille Pissarro, and some impressionist style included in there, and a lot of impressionists like using violet. The idea that shadows weren't really black, I guess, kind of pushed that idea. It was dubbed violetomania, which is hilarious from all of these years later. Impressionists were said to be spending too much time on plein air, and the violet tint, right, is said to be the result of a permanent negative after image caused by looking at sunny yellow landscapes for too long. And everyone just sees violet everywhere, apparently. So that new guard coming for the old guard fits with this as well. The conscious coming from the unconscious kind of thing, like put that off or whatever. Things will not last. So that was really fascinating. I'm gonna end this here. Part 2 will be the next spread. And again, if you want to join my Patreon, you'll get early access to that video way before it comes out here on YouTube. And I want to thank Christine for creating this. I couldn't wait to get started. Also for telling me about the books. I love learning these things, so like I will probably read this entire book at some point. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like this video, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is coming. And links in the description to everything I mentioned here, the decks, the books, and the other YouTubers and their channels and the videos specifically. Also, there is a 10% off discount code to my Etsy shop where I make all natural bath and body products for magical and mundane purposes. There's my Amazon wishlist. If you want to check that out and send me something, you don't have to though. And like I said, my Patreon. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.